So let's just talk about High Republic to start with, and
Sure.
we'll see what time we have left to talk about anything else. But we'll see. I feel like High Republic covers a lot of areas, right? It
Yeah.
covers the adult novels, junior novels, YA, comics, the
Mhm.
audio dramas. It kind of covers the whole gamut. So,
And they had a
um,
lot of announcements
how
that
have
you can
you?
that you can catch up on StarWars.com/news. I'm sorry. It's just I don't
Are
know
you
why I keep doing
credited on
that.
those, or is it just
Yeah.
do they credit?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
I thought I saw
Click
your
that
name.
link. That's my name and my picture by it for the High Republic.
Yeah, when
Right
when
up.
we say that Bria contributes to StarWars.com, she literally wrote a bunch of the things that we're talking about as far as like the recaps of the book panels and the different panels
Yeah.
and stuff from Celebration.
Hence
So
why I'm being it's probably not that funny, especially if someone's just listening to this in podcast form. I'm it's late. I think I'm funny. Sorry. Um yeah,
but yeah,
that was a pat. I feel like all you need to do to understand the impact, and granted, Lucasfilm has clearly like marketed and pushed this a lot since its initial tease and then the launch. Like, I can't think of any other publishing thing where they've had people fly out for a launch event before, but like they were in the second biggest stage for the High Republic panel, and I think that room was filled. Um, it was crazy. It was like I've never seen a publishing panel like that before. Um,
yeah, and it's funny because High Republic it came at a time, obviously the pandemic
mhm.
upends a lot of things, and it was just kind of a weird time for everyone. And High Republic was kind of at its height during all of this stuff. And I didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of interaction with other Star Wars fans at that
Mhm.
time. And I was kind of like, I was really enjoying it, but then a couple other people I was talking to were like, "Yeah, it's not really for me." Even
Mhm.
people like I'll throw his name out there. I don't think he cares, but William Devereaux, for example,
Mhm.
is somebody I know who tends to be very positive about Star Wars fiction, and
Mhm.
he was not feeling it. Like he was just like, it's not really for me." And I was starting to feel like, am I the only person that likes High Republic?
Mhm.
So to see that where you go to an event and it's, packed as if it was like going to be a TV trailer or something,
Yeah.
and they're talking about literature. Like you and I
Mhm.
have both been to plenty of literature panels
Oh
across
God, yeah.
New York Comic Con, Celebration. We've been to these and they're popular, but it's not like packed room, like standing room only type of situation typically.
Mhm.
So it's definitely cool to see something that they're doing generating that much excitement. And it was
Mhm.
all just I was just happy to see other people were excited about it other than me. I literally thought I was like on an island with my enjoyment of High Republic sometimes.
Yeah. I think for High Republic, so that first book came out January 2021. And like a lot of people during the pandemic, during various points of the last couple of years, my brain's just been like, no, let's not. Um, and so one thing I do want to do at some point is go back and like reread a lot of the books because I definitely enjoyed them, but like I hadn't quite latched on to them as much. Like certain characters like Belzettifar and Vernestra, um, and Leox, I was like, yeah, like I love these characters. They're great. I would die for Ember. Um, but I think one of the, like you said, it was amazing to see the reaction in the room. And also, I think it's extremely telling that the High Republic, the Luminous Five amongst now they're spreading out and more people are joining their number. They've made such a concerted effort to have a diverse cast of characters to make that galaxy, that part of the galaxy, be reflective of, like I want to say like the world around us isn't really accurate because of course aliens, but the world around us so people can like see themselves and like relate to characters that they haven't gotten to relate to before. um I think that's part of what makes that the whole High Republic like super special to a lot of people.
And it's crazy how much content it feels like it hasn't been out that long, just in general, the High Republic, but to see how much content that they've already come out with and then how much
Mhm.
has already been announced. We're moving into what they call phase
Phase
two,
two.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So phase two of it. And we already have a bunch of announcements for wave one of phase two, but then
Yes.
we actually have a couple announcements for phase or wave two of phase two.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like we already know so much that's coming. Now, the weird decision in my mind that I thought was a little weird, and maybe they talked about this some, and so you can
Hmm.
enlighten me. is the decision to go back in time as opposed to continue the story with the characters that we had been introduced in phase one. Was there any discussion around kind of why that decision was made?
A little bit, but like they pointed out, it's very Star Wars. You know, like the movies we love, they start where they are and then they go backwards in time and then they jump forward again. Now, did episode 6 end on the cliffhanger like the Fallen Star did, with people's fate and very ambiguous? No. But I think they said, it just felt very Star Wars to do that jump backwards. Yeah, and get to explore more of this era that we really know so little about, or we did know so little about before now.
Yeah. And I guess because they're going back in time, it's changing a little bit of the kind of environment and the dynamic of it. So it's more of a time of exploration. They're the technology isn't quite what we're used to seeing because they're going back so far in time. We've already gone back in time with High Republic in general, but now we're going even further back in time. So we're seeing a little bit different of a dynamic. The Jedi are kind of teaming up with the Republic, right? Isn't that they're going out on these kind of almost...
Yeah, they mentioned like infrastructure a lot. So like the communications infrastructure isn't there yet. I think one of the analogies they use, and I might have used this in my write-up, is about communication at this point is kind of like a droid version of the Pony Express, as in to send a message, you send it, you put in this little droid, and then it has to zip across the galaxy to get it out there, which is also something we haven't really seen Star Wars do before. If you think back to like the KOTOR games, some of the technology is a little bit different, but like it's 3,000 years in the past, and yet it still feels extremely like the Star Wars we know from the movies. So like technology was stagnant. I think it's cool that they're making more of this effort to think about like what things would be like a couple hundred years ago. And I think that has really interesting implications for the Acolyte TV show.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I kind of forgot about Acolyte because they haven't talked too much about it. But yeah, how that's going to tie in with the whole High Republic, and you were kind of talking about the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic and things like that. That's what made, when I was reading some of these descriptions, it was making me think of how they went through the different phases of kind of the original Knights of the Old Republic, like the old comics and the Tales of the Jedi comics, and then they had the Knights of the Old Republic comics that were written by John Jackson Miller, and then they also had the game, and so the different showing the progression of technology in those was always interesting to see. So that'll be something cool to follow with with these new things coming out. And so what do you think about the addition to the writing team? We're so used to the people that have been doing it pretty exclusively.
Oh, I'm excited.
But they've added some names.
Excited. I think they announced a lot of them before. Like Zoraida Cordova is joining, Tessa Gratton is joining, and I think to me, one of the things that stood out in my mind was Michael Siglain, who's, I believe his title is creative director for some publishing. He said that Path of Deceit is, quote, one of the best novels we have ever made, which is insanely high praise. Like, holy crap, I can't wait to see how this book goes. I think George Mann is doing a new audio drama, which is cool to see Del Rey keep going into that medium. And then what was the other name? Lydia Kang. But yeah, no, they've got some really impressive authors in that lineup, and it's cool not just for this, but for some of the other books to see how they've taken some of the anthologies they've done, like Fakpov. And then you see authors who, someone in publishing or wrote his own clearly like was really impressed with the short story they did, and now they're doing more, and it's neat.
Yeah, I was surprised to see how many times I saw George Mann's name pop up. The only thing I knew him from previously was some of those anthology stories that he did in like the Myths and Fables and some of the other ones that they did. And I always really liked his stuff. So I was like, oh, cool. They're giving him more now. You know, he's the one doing the audio drama too, I believe.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Which is going to be a story about
Jeddah.
Jeddah.
Battle of Jeddah, I believe. That was cool. And then, oh crap, what was I gonna say? We're getting the Art of the High Republic
Yep.
book. I think they technically announced that at the panel earlier that day, but that, and then there's that collection of the stories, like I think they're calling it Tales from Starlight Beacon. So it'll be the stories that were published in Insider are coming together in a volume, which will be neat. I'll be honest, I don't have a subscription to Insider.
Yeah, I haven't. I used to, like 10 years ago, maybe even longer ago. So yeah, I definitely don't have. I think I still have a stack of them somewhere in a box somewhere here. But yeah, I haven't had an Insider subscription in a long time. And even when I did, I always found that I didn't take the time to read a lot of the short stories that would be in there, because they just felt very, okay, here's a one-off little story. It doesn't really impact the larger kind of narrative. And so I tended to, if I was going to skip anything, it was usually the Insider stories. So I admittedly haven't read.
Sir.
I know.
I'm gonna tell on you to all the people we know at Del Rey.
Hey, don't tell anyone. I haven't even read the last Thrawn book yet.
You know what? Okay, don't tell anyone, but I literally just finished it on Friday, about 15 hours before I had to moderate a panel with Timothy's on. So